Hey yo, what is up, guys? Your boy is back with yet another review. And like I say, we're continuing on 2002. Let's keep this mission rolling. We only got about another 6 shows in the year left to do. And then I've completed the year. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. And some of the next pay per views I'm really excited to talk about because some of the matches featured on them. So yeah, here, Vengeance 2002, a total B pay-per-view between King of the Ring and SummerSlam, kind of setting up the whole SummerSlam match between The Rock and Brock Lesnar, which was kind of the point of this. And this pay-per-view does have a notable debut on it because it is John Cena's first ever pay-per-view match. So this is John Cena's pay-per-view debut here on this show. So let's get into it. Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero versus, sorry guys, the Dudley boys. Spike and Bubba Ray Dudley. And here we go. This was a tables match. This was a very fun opening match. Good way to start the show. And I really like this match. Eddie and Benoit really controlled the first 4 or 5 minutes of this match. Even when Bubba got tagged in, Bubba kind of had a little bit of flurry of an offense, but it was Eddie and Benoit just right back to just working Bubba Ray, and he was just getting beat down for a little bit. Spike was trapped outside of the match. On the other side of the ring, so Spike's on the one side, Bubba's on the other. Eddie and Chris are setting up the table. Spike comes racing out, saves Bubba from going through the table, and then there was another part where they're about to suplex, I believe it was Bubba, through the table, but Spike manages to move the table, so then he saves Bubba, and then they were going to throw Spike through the table, but Bubba dives in front of Spike, so they both have moments where they protect each other, playing really good defense throughout this match. There's a moment where Chris Benoit's going for a clothesline. I think it was Spike. He ducks out of the way and he smokes Eddie, and Chris and Eddie go out of the ring, and then it leads into Spike hitting a Dudley dog on Eddie Guerrero through the table. So Eddie gets eliminated. So Benoit and Bubba are in the ring. Spike gets back in. Chris ends up throwing Spike through the outside through a table. Spike is eliminated, and then Chris was going to put Bubba through the table, but Bubba counters and gets him up for the Bubba Bomb, putting Benoit through the table. This was Benoit's first pay-per-view match in 13 months due to the neck surgery. And yeah, this was a really good match. I thought this was a really fun way to open the show. Really good tag team tables match. Really different stuff than you don't really see a lot of tables matches anymore. So this was a lot of fun. I guess you see people go through tables literally every week now. So yeah. Next up, Jamie Noble versus why the fuck do I have it? Jamie Noble that can't be right. Jamie Noble versus what the fuck was it? Not what the fuck is his name? 1 second, guys. Why did I not write that in right? Jamie Noble versus Billy Kidman. Sorry, the WCW Derby. I had to bring that up. I am really sorry, guys. So Billy Kidman. This was the WCW Derby here. The two guys from the WCW days having a match here on a WWF or WWE pay-per-view. And this was a pretty solid match. Jamie Noble was like a solid third liner at this point in time. You put him out and he does his thing. He has really good matches throughout the year. He's just a solid undercard wrestler, and he just had matches that were really good, helped carry the flow of the shows throughout this year here, and you could just tell that's what his role was. He went out there, had good matches with guys, and this was no different. He and Billy Kidman here had a really decent match here. Billy Kidman, he went for a shooting star press, which looked really cool, because I was like, man, this guy doesn't really look like a cruiserweight. Then he goes up there and he goes for that shooting star press, and it actually looked really sick because he got a really good hang time on that. But Jamie Noble managed to counter, and he hits like a tiger bomb is what they call it. I can't remember. He hangs both arms, slams them down on his stomach. Tiger driver. I can't remember what they called this. I don't think it was a tiger driver, but I'd have to look up what the actual finishing move was of this. So yeah, Jamie Noble absolutely picking up a new trailer, new truck, getting a couple dirt bikes here. Yeah, we're getting liquored up with the boys after this. So him and Nadia, they ride off into the sunset after picking up yet another dub over Billy Kidman. I don't really know what Billy Kidman's impact was in WWE. I'm just getting to watch through all this stuff, so maybe I'll see more of him in the future. Yeah. So moving on, Jeff Hardy versus William Regal, and not my favorite match from either guy. It was only like a couple minutes. Jeff came out, had this sick face paint, glow in the dark face paint on. There's a point here in the match where Jeff's going for a kick on the outside to William Regal, but he kind of misses, and then William Regal goes to, like, because he's hung up on the ropes, goes to grab him. Jeff hits like a hurricanrana, comes running off the barricade. That was really cool. Jeff then kind of has the advantage in the ring, goes for the swanton. William Regal puts the knees up, and, you think William Regal is going to win? No way. Jeff Hardy, roll up. Yeah, not the best match ever. It was really short, but both guys got a paycheck out of it, I would presume. Next up, here we go. John Cena's pay-per-view debut here. John Cena might as well just worn a cape down to the ring here. It just looks like he's just ready. He's got like his arms at the side here. Just very, very generic pro wrestler look, but it's so generic, it's kind of its own thing, and it's kind of funny. Against the WrestleMania 18 main event, one half of the WrestleMania 18 main event, and former world champion Chris Jericho. That's who he made his pay-per-view pay-per-view debut match against, and that's a really solid start off for him. So Chris Jericho in this match hit this wicked drop kick on John Cena. John Cena's running into the corner, and Chris Jericho smokes him right in the chest. You just hear the entire crowd go, "Oh!" So yeah, Chris Jericho then goes for the lion salt on John Cena, and he hits it. And then instead of just going for the pin, he's like, "Fuck you, I'm putting you in the walls of Jericho." But then John Cena counters again into what else? A roll up, and gets the 1, 2, 3. Man, these roll ups, man. Most deadly move in WWE history is, in fact, the roll-up, in case you didn't know. So, yeah, this match here, it was pretty decent. Nothing crazy. It was just a solid, again, undercard match for both guys. Again, Chris Jericho just eating another L here, man. Him and Hulk Hogan are the L eaters of 2002 on pay-per-views. So, next up here, this was an excellent match, and I really, really enjoyed this match. It's a match you wouldn't really expect to be as good as it is. Rob Van Dam versus Brock Lesnar. Just the absolute contrast in styles. Rob Van Dam using his speed and quickness against Brock Lesnar's speed and power, and it's really, really interesting because Brock's just kind of so much bigger and stronger than RVD, but RVD is got the quickness of the cat, and he's able to kind of dangle his way out of Lesnar's offense. Even when Lesnar is having offense, Rob Van Dam still sticks around in the match, hitting Brock Lesnar would be throwing punches, but then he'd be coming back with kicks. And he had this really cool flip out of the corner when Brock Lesnar was coming in with a shoulder block to the chest. There was a really cool part where Brock Lesnar just throws him right in the abdominal plex here. And then, so Rob Van Dam, he's going for the 5-star frog splash. Brock Lesnar gets up, catches him, throws him up, going for the F5, goes for it. Rob Van Dam counters with a tilt-a-whirl DDT. Then he goes up and hits the frog splash onto Brock Lesnar. And right when he's about to get to 3 count, Paul Heyman pulls the ref out of the ring and gets Rob Van Dam, gets Brock Lesnar disqualified. I don't think I mentioned this, but it was for the Intercontinental Championship. And yeah, so really interesting to see Brock Lesnar have a back and forth battle with someone like Rob Van Dam, who you wouldn't really expect at the time. But I would really recommend this might be my favorite part of Brock Lesnar's career. I don't know. After watching a lot of these matches, it's a lot of fun just to watch Brock when he was just a straight-up pro wrestler here in the early 2000s. I really, really like this version of Brock Lesnar, I will say. I really like this stuff. So this was a really solid IC title match. Definitely check this match out if you are looking for some good athleticism in a wrestling match. This is it right here. That was a really solid derby. Next up, going to Booker T versus Big Show. Big Show really just this was a really, really short match. Big Show kind of just throws Booker T around because he's way bigger and stronger. The match goes to the outside. Booker T starts slamming Big Show's face into the ring post. Then he hits a scissor kick to Big Show. Then they get back in the ring, hits another scissor kick on Big Show. Then he does the Houston Hangman, which is this sick flip leg drop move right on across Big Show's face, picking up the 3 count. Booker T. We got a lot of love for Booker T over on this channel. Booker T was a great wrestler. This is a short match. But yeah, not a bad little undercard match after what was some heat in that IC title match. Next up, Triple H. He's getting questioned about whether he's going to go to Raw, SmackDown, Stephanie, Shawn Michaels. It was cool to see Shawn Michaels make his entrance. Just that bam with that freaking pyro behind him. Yeah, Eric Bischoff had just come back to the company. So, yeah, this was whatever. I didn't really watch all of it. I just kind of skipped it. So, I don't really have time for another talking segment. Next up, we'll talk about the Un-Americans versus Hulk Hogan and Edge. So this was pretty decent stuff early on. I really liked Edge's he's sitting on the ropes, and then Hulk Hogan slams, I believe it was Lance Storm, right into Edge sitting there on the ropes. Edge gets in the ring, has a little bit of a back and forth. He gets beaten down by Christian and Lance Storm until eventually Hulk Hogan gets tagged into the match. Hulk Hogan hits that big boot on Lance Storm, and then hits a leg drop, and you're like, oh, it's going to be over. Christian manages to break it out. Hulk Hogan falls to the outside. Lance Storm hits a super kick onto Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan ends up back in the ring, getting beaten down by both Christian and Lance Storm, until Edge manages to get tagged back into the match, and he's a house of fire coming into this. Till he goes for a spear on Lance Storm. Lance Storm hurdles him, smokes the referee, and then then Test hits the ring, beats down on Edge. Lance Storm has the cover. Nope. Edge manages to kick out, and that's when you think it's all over, but then Christian's kind of beating down Hulk Hogan on the outside, and then he's kind of got Edge's attention. Edge gets up to kind of deal with him. The ref's kind of in the middle of it, and then Chris Jericho hits the ring and smokes Edge with the title, and Lance Storm picks up the fall, and your new tag team champions, Christian and Lance Storm, defeat Hulk Hogan and Edge heading into SummerSlam here. Whew, that was a lot. Now we're talking about main event time. This main event was epic. The Undertaker defending his undisputed title against The Rock and Kurt Angle, and man, 10 minutes into this, they had already hit each other with everything. It's like they're all laid out, just like you could just tell, like these guys had seen some shit in those first 10 minutes of this match. They had hit each other with each other's signature moves, like The Rock hit a choke slam on The Undertaker. Undertaker hits an angle slam on Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle had a rock bottom on The Rock. Man, they had seen some shit. Then they kind of fall to the outside. This is where the match gets kind of like where like the craziness begins. So The Rock kind of gets taken care of over by The Undertaker at the announce table. Then Undertaker's over trying everything he can. He's throwing everything into this. Man, this must have been an exhausting 20 minutes for the dead man, because he's throwing everything at this. Kurt Angle gets busted open. Rock tries getting back into it. Undertaker kind of takes care of The Rock again. Angle's back in the ring. Undertaker drops that leg on him, sends him back in. They're going back and forth into the ring. And that's when it was like, holy fuck, guys. You have to watch this match. This match is crazy. It is a finisher fest, but it is a crazy finisher fest. And the guys were just kind of getting like messed up left to right and center. Like you could just tell like they were just completely exhausted, completely worn out in this match. Kurt Angle, he had that triangle choke that he manages to tap the dead man to a few weeks earlier on SmackDown. Rock, this is really interesting. So like they were like hitting each other's finishers on, like Undertaker's completely passed out, and then The Rock hits a rock bottom, but Kurt Angle kind of manages to kick out of that. The Undertaker's back up in this match. Oh man, this was like, that last 5 minutes was just complete drama, all stretched throughout. Undertaker, he was so beat up at this point. The Rock hits one last rock bottom on Kurt Angle, and oh wait, the Undertaker kicked out of a rock bottom here too. He got hit with some other shit, and then he manages, like, you didn't even think, he just like manages to kind of get the shoulder up. The Undertaker was like fighting for his life, doing everything he can to just defend that title. But The Rock manages that last rock bottom. Undertaker just laid on the save. Man, this was a derby. This was the derby to talk about, boys. This was it. These guys kicked the shit out of each other. They're probably just like after the match. This was a really, really good match. I love this match. Really solid way to send off the pay-per-view and send us into one of the best pay-per-views of all time. SummerSlam 2002. Yeah. Anyways, Really solid stuff. Star descriptions are in the description below. Yeah, anyways, I'll be back with, I think it's Noversy 2002. So we'll be talking about that next. Peace out, guys.